What is going, guys? Ox here and welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another sound test. This time we have a new switch from Akko. And no, this is not another CS switch. This is a new switch by Akko in collaboration with TTC. A huge shout out to Akko Gear for sending them over. The switches were sponsored but of course honestly reviewed by me. All of Akko's link would be on the description down below. So we have two switches. These are the Demon and Princess switch. Both are a linear switch and the only difference would be the actuation force. Today, we'll be taking a look at the Demon switches first, and as per Akko, these are currently one of their best and most expensive switches that they have released. And the key feature would be the new technology that TTC has released called the light condenser, which they place on the switch to enhance the light performance. In short, better RGB for your keyboard, because why not? In this video, I'll be doing a stock versus lube comparison, breaking down the materials of the switch, talking about the pricing, and taking a look at the light condenser. And of course, at the end of the sound test, I'll be giving out my thoughts and opinion on this switch. So if you want to hear that, please do stick around at the end of the sound test. If you are new here, please make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and before we move on to the sound test, a quick disclaimer. The sound may vary depending on your keyboard build. For this sound test, I am using the GMMK Pro with a aluminum plate, tape modded, and no case foam. I'm also using the Geek Arc PBT keycap, so yeah, with that out of the way, please do enjoy the sound test. So that was the sound test for the new Akko TTC Demon switches. Let me know in the comment section down below on what you think about them. Let's have a discussion. So I did mention about the new technology that TTC added on the Switch called Condenser or Light Condenser. So basically it will enhance the backlit or the RGB on your keyboard. And I do have some switches here so we can try and compare them to the Demon switches. So first we have the Akko Cs switches. Next, we have the Momoga Frog switches. Next up, we have the Gateron Milky Cap switches. And lastly, we have a JWK EV01 switches. So yeah, looking at it more, it did make a huge difference and does serve its purpose, with the light evenly distributed and is more noticeable on the Demon switches compared on some normal switch. And in addition to this, I've noticed less stem wobble compared to the CS switches. But the condenser feature comes with a flaw or a setback. This will have some interference if you are using a chair profile keycaps. I have yet to test them on the other profiles, but from what I've heard, some keycap profiles are already fine with this. Although you can just easily remove the condenser by opening the switch, but it would defeat the purpose of the feature, so please keep that in mind when you are considering buying this. Now let's talk about the price and packaging. By now, Akko is very known for how nice their packaging is. This time I was surprised as they came in with small little boxes, as they offer this in packs of 10. They still have the plastic tray that you can still reuse as a mini lubing station. Don't get me wrong, I love the packaging, but it feels like a little bit of waste, especially when you are buying a full set to fit a keyboard. Example, like a 90 pieces, so you have 9 pieces of boxes. So if you can, please try to reuse them as much as possible. Now for the pricing, a pack of $10, a pack of 10 pieces would cost you around $6.99 or $7. And I know the price is a bit steep, but to be honest, it really gets the job done in terms of the light diffuser or the condenser feature, but I still think it's a little bit too high in terms of the whole switch. Let me know in the comment section down below on what you think about the pricing. Do you think it's justifiable for the light condenser or no? Before we move on and talk about my thoughts and opinion on the sound and feel, you know the drill, let us break down the materials that was used on the switch. These are a 3-pin switch, and it came in with a light factory lube. So we have polycarbonate for the top housing, nylon on the bottom housing, and of course POM was used on the stem. Lastly, we have the spring, which have a 63.5 gram bottom out. Also, here's a look at the condenser, which I don't know what they made of, but yeah, you could actually take it off on the switch. So yeah, finally, let's talk about my thoughts and opinion on the Demon Switch. A quick disclaimer guys, as mentioned at the start, the sound and experience may vary depending on your keyboard build. I use the GMMK Pro with alu plate, tape modded, and with a PCB to plate foam with no case foam. The switches was lubed with a 205 grade 0 and 105 for the spring lube. Let us talk about the feel first. On stock, they feel nice and smooth. I didn't notice any scratchiness at all. And as mentioned, they came in with pre-factory lube, which I kind of didn't mind at all because it was fairly consistent on the batch that I had, and the application on them was applied lightly. But of course, I still suggest lubing the switches as it would make it much better to type on. And one thing that I didn't like about this is that you can actually feel the interference when you are using it longer. And once you notice it, you can actually never unfeel it. But I don't know, maybe it's just me. But yeah, you can just easily remove the condenser or try out a different set of keycap profile. Sadly, the cherry profile is the only thing that I have right now. I'll see if I can try other profile. But as mentioned, as far as I know, it only affects cherry profile. Or again, I'll just remove the condenser to better feel the switches in the future. Now let's talk about my opinion on this sound. Even though it's not that high pitch, I kinda like it. It sounds a little deep on the GMMK Pro, and personally, I love how the space bar sounds on the Switch. It's a pretty decent Switch. Even on stock, I was fairly surprised as they sounded okay. I would also like to say that I didn't notice any spring ping or leaf ping, which is really surprising because it's kind of like a huge leap from the CS switches. Although I can say that the cherry profile interference might have altered the sound. So if ever, I will try to do a sound test comparing it with a condenser and without the condenser on the Switch and see if the sound changes. So overall, it's a decent sounding Switch minus the interference if you will be using a cherry profile keycap. I also want to give props to Akko for trying and implementing something different with the switches and going out of their budget line switch. But Akko, it's a 50-50 for me in terms of recommending the switches. I still think the price is a bit high considering the current cost of the new switches out in the market, but I do believe that Akko has their own target market for these switches. I think they have tried to diversify, and from what I've heard, in China, only a few uses the cherry profile keycap, so they wouldn't have any issue with the interference, and some of them are a fan of RGB, so yeah, the condenser feature would really be put into use. And hey, maybe some gamers, they will find the feature interesting. In short, it would still boil down to your preference. If you really like the RGB, then yes, the condenser really works, but keep in mind about using a cherry profile keycap. But if you are looking to try some new linear, I do not suggest getting them. I would just suggest getting other new linear switches out in the market. And personally, for me, I expected more, but I was a bit disappointed or sad about the interference issue. But after this, I would remove the diffuser to try and see if it would change the feel and sound, or maybe just try a new keycap profile for a change. So let me know what you think about the Demon Switches on the comment section down below. The links would be in the description as well if you decided to buy or try them out in the future. Again, shout out to Akko for sending them over. So yeah, that is it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed the review and sound test. So please don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps out my channel. And let's try to aim to get 50 likes on this video. And thank you once again for the support. I'm still working on the 1K video special, and the next video or the next switch should be the Princess switches, so please watch out for that. I will also do some sound tests using the GMMK Pro, so if ever, please let me know what switches you want me to try. Feel free to share the video, by the way, and make sure to subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys on the next sound test. Peace.